getaway day here in St. Louis as this wild series wraps up. The Cardinals winning the first two games in come-from-behind fashion. The Cubs a 6-5 winner last night to snap a 4-game losing streak. Great to have you with us this afternoon, Jim DeShays and Len Casper. So the Cubs were able to stave off the Cardinals last night. Anthony Rizzo right in the middle of it once again. A homer, a double, 3 knocked in.
Boy, what a year Anthony Rizzo is having. He was an all-star last year. Pretty good chance he's going to be an all-star again this year. Certainly will if he keeps up what he has done so far this season. Last night, double home run, drove in 3. Leads the major leagues in on-base percentage. Just never gives away in that bat. He covers everything. He's hitting hard stuff, soft stuff, and he's hitting the St. Louis Cardinals in this series as well. 6 out of 13 with a couple of long balls.
John Lester last night went 7 innings for the Cubs, gave up 4 runs, 1 earned. It'll be Jake Arrieta with such great stuff and a lot of success against the Cardinals going today.
Yeah, he was not particularly sharp last time out against the Brewers, but he's been very sharp against the Cardinals in his career. He's made 6 starts against St. Louis, including the one you're looking at here from Wrigley at the start of the season, his first start of the year. He went 7 shutout in that game in his career. 6 starts against the Cardinals, 3-0 with an 0.74. There are the numbers from that game back in Chicago. 7 shutout for Arrieta.
And no Carpenter, no Holiday in the lineup because they haven't had success against Jake. It'll be John Lackey, who's been in the big leagues a long time but hasn't faced the Cubs very often.
We just saw him a couple times last year after he came over from Boston. He pitched well in those games. You're looking at his numbers from his last start against the Pirates. No decision, 6 innings of 1-run baseball.
Still very early. Cubs 5.5 games behind the team with the best record in all of baseball. The Cardinals at 20-7. Cubs at 14-12. And we'll have all the action coming up from St. Louis.
Chicago area and Northwest Indiana Lexus dealer, who invites you to test drive a Lexus today. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois. Through it all. AT&T Uverse. Find out what's possible with AT&T. Call 1-800-PIC-ATT. Mobilizing your world. Ford. Check out America's freshest lineup at your local Ford store or at localfordstores.com. And by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com.
Another nice day here in St. Louis as we wrap up the series, and Chris Maloney exchanging the lineup card for the Cardinals. So Mark Reynolds is out after they lost last night, but Wellington Castillo brought the card out for the Cubs last evening, did it again today. Got a new trend.
Yeah, well, that's the ultimate what have you done for me lately, right? Keep winning, you get to bring the lineup card out. I remember years ago, if we have time, I'll tell you this little story. In Houston, Glenn Davis brought it out, and we won, and we went on a little bit of a winning streak. And the coaching staff convinced Glenn that whoever brought it out to the lineup card out for the most wins won a big screen television at the end of the year. So all year long, he operated under that misconception.
Well, that's great. It's an anniversary today. Happy 5th anniversary to Starlin Castro, our T-Mobile game changer. 5 years ago today, he had a rather historic Major League debut. Hit a 3-run homer in his first at-bat in Cincinnati. Later, a 3-run triple, so he knocked in 6.
Just a puppy then, still a very young man at the age of 25, a 3-time All-Star. One indisputable fact about Starlin Castro, he can put the bat on the baseball. And a lot of debate about his defensive work and things of that nature over the years, but he can make contact.
Let's get today's umpires. John Tumpane will work home plate. John Hirschbeck, the crew chief, is at first. Bill Welke is at second. DJ Rayburn is at third. And that guy hanging with the umpires, I think, borrowed your shorts. The photographer.
Well, yeah, if not, he should have. Those are solid. Those babies glow in the dark.
If today's Cubs leadoff man gets a hit, Benny's Beverage Depot will donate $100 to Make-A-Wish, Illinois. And it will not be Dexter Fowler today. He's getting a day off. We've got a getaway day night, followed by a day game lineup for both teams. A couple of starters are out for these respective clubs as John Lackey will take the mound against this Cubs Southwest starting lineup. So Coughlin will lead off. Chris Bryant moves up to the 2 slot in the lineup for the first time. Rizzo, Montero, and Soler. Castro, the shortstop. Matt Caesar gets the start for Dexter Fowler in center. Jake Arrieta looking for his first hit. And Addison Russell's had a fantastic stretch here. 9-game hitting streak, bats 9th.
A little different look for the Cardinals this afternoon as well. John Jay gets his first start of the year in left field. Peter Borges will patrol center this afternoon. Jason Hayward is the right fielder. Mark Reynolds spells Matt Carpenter at third base. Peralta and Wong up the middle. Big City Matt Adams is the first baseman. And the 3-time Platinum Glove winner, Yadier Molina, the catcher today for our Lexus pursuing perfection starting pitcher. For the Cardinals is John Lackey, a veteran. He's been around a long time, 36 years of age, making his 6th start. 1 up, 1 down, 3.69 ERA for Lackey thus far. Four-pitch mix, fastball, slider, curve, and change. And step in there ready to hit. He throws strike 1 a high percentage of the time. If you want the raw numbers, 73.5% of the time he throws strike 1. That's the second highest rate in Major League Baseball. And his opposite number, Arrieta, just a couple notches behind him on that list.
He's used to pitching in big games. He has won a couple of World Series clinchers, and he leads all active pitchers in postseason innings, tied for games started in the playoffs with CC Sabathia. 18 postseason starts. So the 6'6", 36-year-old right-hander ready to work against Chris Coghlan. Little overcast but warm. And we're underway. A strike called.
Strike one. There you go. True to form.
85 degrees here in St. Louis. Weather has been A+ throughout this series. Haven't looked at the Milwaukee forecast. Not that it matters that much because they've got a roof. I think they opened it today for the first time as they're hosting the Dodgers. We'll be in Milwaukee tomorrow night. The 0-2. And Coghlan could not hold up on that slider for strike three.
Well, that went pretty well from Lackey's point of view. Coghlan would like another whack at it. Got carved up pretty well there by Lackey. First strikeout of the day. Lackey has not struck out many this year. Strikeout rate of just 13% coming into this game, and league averages right around 20.
Chris Bryant takes ball one. He has scored 5 runs in this series. He is out on basing his slugging. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Yes.
Don't know if that'll continue, but so far he's getting on base a ton. Still waiting for that power component that he has displayed throughout his minor league career.
They have pitched him very carefully. Came with a big reputation. And a lot of times pitchers will challenge that. They, oh yeah, you did it in the minor leagues. Let's see you do it up here. Well, he has not been challenged much here. By challenge, I mean attacked in the strike zone with fastballs. Having a good series, 4 out of 10. He's a little above league average in terms of his slugging percentage, way above with that on-base number. So if Bryant and Rizzo do their thing today, should be plenty of opportunities for Montero and Soler.
Cut and a miss, and it's full 3-2. Rizzo waiting on deck.
Lackey, a smart veteran pitcher with good command. You'll see him try to exploit Bryant with that elevated fastball. He's going to try to go down and away here. Whoa.
Missed a spot by about 2 feet. So here comes Rizzo. A pretty spirited debate caught last night after the game on MLB Network about pitch framing and about Yadier Molina. Harold Reynolds and Dan Plesac were very passionate about it. And they brought up, I thought, some interesting points about pitch framing with certain pitchers. And HR's point was, when you catch Zach Greinke and Adam Wainwright, you look like a great pitch framer because they hit the glove. So he kind of put it on the pitchers. I was talking with somebody today. They said, last night you had a pretty big strike zone, so the umpiring does matter. I think it's all interconnected. I think some are better than others.
Well, I think the point, too, that Harold might be missing there is that when we're talking about pitch framing, it's not just catching strikes, it's getting the borderline pitches called strikes. So no matter who's out there, there's value. And when talking with Joe Madden about it yesterday, because I'd read this article about Molina slipping in that department, and
right. Plesac said he'd take Molina over anybody today.
Well, and so, well, that's always the debate, right?
Yeah.
We've talked a lot about it with the new statistics out there. Reputation, guys earn a reputation, and they hang on to their reputation for a long time until there's an abundance of evidence to suggest otherwise.
Right.
My guess is Molina at the end of the year is going to be really good in that department. And the margins we're talking about are very, very small.
Yep.
The amount of pitches earned or gained or whatever, however they quantify it. But Joe Madden, the former catcher himself, says what he likes about Molina and the guys that are the best is this: they have such strong hands, so they're not drifting as they catch the ball. They're holding it in place. They're able to reach for a pitch away and still catch it very solidly without wavering.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Rizzo just sizzling hot, as he has been pretty much to start the season, and some tough luck there as he lines it right to Peralta for the out. The Cardinals aren't shifting there. That's a solid single to center, but teams know where Anthony Rizzo likes to hit his line drives.
Another very good swing of the bat. Squares it up. You see Bryant starting to break, had to slam on the brakes, and Peralta just didn't have an angle to make that throw, so hung on.
It'll bring up Miguel Montero, his 255th career start in the cleanup spot. And why not put him there? He's got 11 hits over his last 7 games.
He's got an on-base plus slugging of 874. That's really good. It's the third best among all major league catchers. Yeah, and A.J. Pierzynski at number 2, and Nick Hundley at number 1. How about that? Hundley up in Colorado putting up good numbers.
That is a strike called. Jake Arrieta has absolutely dominated the Cardinals in his career. Montero in the air out in the left center. Borges races over and makes a catch. A walk, but no runs. Arrieta to face the Cardinal offense when we return. Of notable absences. John Jay is going to lead off, which isn't a big surprise, but he's in left. Matt Holliday not in the lineup. 1 for 15 against Arrieta. Colton Wong red hot, so he's going to bat second. Nomad Carpenter 0 for 13 against Arrieta. Peralta at short. Adams at first. Reynolds at third for Carpenter. Hayward, Molina, Peter Borges gets another start in this series, and John Lackey, the pitcher.
Who's where for the Cubs this afternoon? Coghlan in left. Caesar gets a start in center. Soler out there in right. We'll pretty much always find him. Third to first, Bryant, Castro, Russell, Rizzo. And Miguel Montero will put down the signals today for the Cubs. Lexus pursuing perfection starting pitcher. The hard-chunking right-hander Jake Arrieta. Through 5 starts, 3-2, 284 earned run average. Tough to hit. The league hits just 212 against him. He's allowed a couple of long balls. He's just completely slammed the door on left-handed hitters.
.36 1/3 career innings versus St. Louis. 3 earned runs allowed. That's it. Bryant way in at third as Jay takes ball 1 outside. John Jay has been hit by a pitch 3 times in this series, 6 times overall, trailing only Anthony Rizzo among all major leaguers. And last year got plunked 20 times.
Jake, normally a great starter. That was not the case last time. Starting of early innings of his ball games. But that was not the case last time. He gave up 2 in the first, 2 more in the second against Milwaukee, as he ended up allowing those 4 runs in 5 innings of work.
High strike that time. 2-2 the count. The sun is out, and another big crowd gathering. Don't know if you'd call this a business person special, as that one is rifled into center for a leadoff single. But that's what they used to call these 12:45 starts.
Play hooky, work a half a day, then come to the ballpark. Take a look at our pitch tracks. Tried to backdoor that breaking ball. Caught a little bit too much of the plate. And Jay with his first career hit off of Arrieta.
Now Colton Wong, who's 9 for 13 over his last 4 games. Been hitting down in the order, but with no Carpenter today, he's batting second. Surrounded by Castro, and everybody's going to be safe. He had no play at first, and ultimately no play at second. An infield hit for Colton Wong. Now 10 for his last 14. And trouble for Arrieta.
Yeah, it seems to me that the Cardinals have gotten more than their fair share of soft hits in this series. No doubt they've done some very good hitting, but they've hit a lot of bloopers, this little infield knock.
You'd really have to go back to Fernando Vina, wouldn't you, to find the last kind of stretch during which the Cardinals had stability at second base. And Colton Wong has really flourished here. That's, I'm sure, a development that makes the Cardinals very happy. Outside on his double play partner, Johnny Peralta.
And they pulled the plug on Wong early last year. Remember, he made the club, but struggled a little bit early on. They sent him down. Came back, showed steady improvement. And he's become the player they expected him to be.
Inside on a curveball. Peralta homered last night. And unlike a lot of Cardinal hitters, he has had success against Jake going back to their American League days.
That wasn't Jake. That was a different Jake. That was Jake from State Farm.
A little early adversity here. 2 on, nobody out. Lined, caught by Russell, throw to second. They got him. I don't know if Jake froze or stumbled. I was watching the ball. But normally you're taught to hang tight there on a line drive and get back to the bag when you can, and he didn't.
Well, Arrieta hoping for a double play ball, but not a conventional double play ball there. Yeah, he took a step or two towards third base, and that opened up the door for Russell to make this flip to Castro for the double play.
So that helps. 2 outs. Here's Matt Adams. Adams hitless. 4 at bats in the series, had been hot coming in.
Cardinals don't do a lot of running. Arrieta is fairly slow to home plate, so they might be inclined to try to steal a bag or two here today.
Bounced back to the pitcher, Arrieta. He'll underhand flip to Rizzo to end the inning. Couple of hits to start it, but no runs. To CSN after the final horn for Blackhawks post-game live, presented by Hawk Ford. Get instant player and coach reaction, expert analysis, and more right here after every playoff game on Comcast Sportsnet. Scoreless tie as Cubs will bat here in the second inning. John Lackey playing on the Major League minimum. It's true. And a strike on Jorge Soler. It's the result of a health clause that he had signed in his Red Sox contract. Missed 2012 after Tommy John surgery. So this is a club option year that became available to his team, which is now the Cardinals. Jam shot roller to Adams on the right side. Lackey covering. But he's made over $100 million in his career, so.
Yeah, I think he'll be able to pay the bills. But it obviously becomes a very valuable guy for the Cardinals to bring all that experience. He's still a good, solid Major League starting pitcher at rock bottom prices. I think they got a set of Ginsu knives, too, when they made that deal. They threw it in just at the last minute as the trade deadline neared.
Here's Castro. It's pretty interesting, isn't it, that Lackey signed that deal with, his agent did, essentially with the Red Sox under Theo Epstein. And now Theo's main competition gets to benefit from it.
So you're basically paying him like a rookie. He's pitching like a veteran. Ooh, a little drop down.
Slings it in there for a strike to make it 1-2. He was an all-star with the Angels in 07. Won 19 games that year and led the league with a 3.01 ERA. Cut and a miss, strike 3 for his second strikeout. And it'll bring up Matt Caesar.
Yeah, just a good, durable, long career. 153 wins against 118 losses. Career ERA of 4.02.
From Abilene, Texas. To Grayson County College and the University of Texas at Arlington, which I believe is in Arlington.
Yeah. Hunter Pence played there. And I think Giovanni Gallardo, too. Did he spend a little time there? Or he was just from the area?
I don't think so.
Somebody else played there. There's
Mark
somebody
Lowe,
else.
Ryan Roberts.
Dylan
G.
That high fastball is a weapon for him here today.
And he makes quick work of the Cubs in the second. Scoreless early.
The Cubs are making some noise this year, so don't miss the excitement at Wrigley Field. The Cubs return to action at home on Monday. Start of a 7-game homestand featuring the Mets and the Pirates. Tickets are still available for each and every one of those games. Get your tickets at Cubs.com.
Reynolds, Hayward, and Molina due up against Jake Arrieta. Another guy from Texas. Good Texas matchup today.
Couple of big Texas gunslingers.
Mark Reynolds making his third start of this series. Grand slam on Monday. Game-winning pinch hit. RBI double Tuesday. And had a chance to be a hero last night. But he struck out with runners at first and third and one out in the bottom of the ninth. So he's at third today for Carpenter. Jason Hamill, Jimmy Nelson in Milwaukee tomorrow. Travis Wood, Kyle Loesch on Saturday. Kyle Hendricks, Matt Garza, the former Cub, on Sunday. And we'll get to talk to Craig Counsell for the first time as a big league manager.
Counsell won his debut as the Brewers beat the Dodgers on Monday. They beat Clayton Kershaw. You look at the matchups for the weekend. Kyle Loesch off to a miserable start.
Wide for a ball. It's 3-2. Left side, backhanded play, Castro. And Reynolds is going to make his way to second on an infield hit and an error on the shortstop.
I think an accurate throw's got a shot at him. Very difficult to make an accurate throw falling away the way Castro was, but unfortunately it was so wild Rizzo wasn't able to knock it down and keep Reynolds at first base.
Here's Hayward. And he could not hold up. Castro playing near second as they shift a little bit against Hayward. He scored 3 runs last night, 4 hits in the series. First career plate appearance, he homered off Carlos Zambrano in Atlanta. Little soft liner over the head of Castro. Reynolds around third. Caesar drops it. There will not be an error there, as Reynolds was going to score either way, and it's 1-0 St. Louis.
Oh, another soft hit, but an RBI single for Hayward. Caesar peeking a little bit, trying to find that base runner. Failed to come up with the ball, but it didn't change the outcome of the play. Fastball command not there yet for Arrieta. There you go. Normally he's pretty good at just being able to pound away bottom of the strike zone over both sides of the plate, inside and outside corners.
Molina's knocked in 3 in this series, including 2 last night.
Hayward, one of the guys in this Cardinal lineup I can steal a bag.
Up and away. It's 1-1. Molina signed through 2017. Twelfth year in the big leagues, all with the Cardinals. I confirmed with Dave Martinez what you said last night. I said, did you get the save or the win? And he agreed with you. It was a save situation. It was like a Goose Gossage save.
Yeah, he went.
Final 3 innings.
Whoop.
That one got by everybody. Montero finally able to locate it on a wild pitch.
So an errant throw moves Reynolds into scoring position. Now wild pitch allows Hayward to get into scoring position. Montero coming out of his crouch trying to pick that on the backhand side. Might have been better off dropping down and just trying to smother it with his chest.
Three and 1 on Molina. Nobody out. 3-2.
Rewind the tape. Molina's not going to look back. Good pitch. Well framed by
there you go.
Mr. Montero.
Here it is. Ground ball right side. Russell makes the play. Hayward now at third. Taking advantage of that wild pitch, getting him to second. And Molina gets him to the third station with only one out.
Yeah, bottom of the order here, so Joe Madden will bring the infield in. Pitcher on deck, always got to be aware of a potential squeeze in this situation. And we talk so much about scouting players. Well, managers get scouted too, so Joe Madden will know all of Mike Matheny's tendencies. And does he use a squeeze very often? What counts will he do it on? Which hitters would he feel comfortable putting it on with? Borges certainly fits the profile.
And he'll get it done with an extra base hit. Coghlan chasing it down, and it gets away from him. Borges keeps on moving to third. He is safe. Two to nothing Cardinals.
Well, Cardinals have been playing from behind throughout this series. That would be the Cubs' chance to try to make a comeback. Infield pulled in. Obviously less reaction time for Bryant. Coghlan can't get it before it kicks off the wall. And an extra 90 feet for the speedy Borges.
And he's credited with a triple. And now the infield way in against Lackey.
I would probably even shorten up the outfield even more, just because the infield's so far in. Close some of that gap between the infielders and the outfielders. Highly unlikely the Lackey's going to drive it over their heads, but I hate to see him dump one into shallow right field for an RBI.
One and two. Under 100 in his career for the batting average. And strike three on a curveball. So it took 9 batters for Jake to get his first strikeout. And it'll be Jay now with 2 outs. Now 1-1. Jay with a single in the first inning. And it's 1-2. Milwaukee trying to win 3 of 4 against the Dodgers. 1-1. They're in the top of the third. Just underway in Chicago. Tigers with a first inning run against the White Sox. Oakland leading Minnesota 4-3. They're in the top of the fourth, and they've got a delay in Kansas City. Indians and Royals.
Kluber and Volquez in that one. Jay, tough guy to finish off. He doesn't strike out much. Did that
Strike
time.
3 called to end the inning finally. But they get 2 and grab the lead. Long on Comcast Sportsnet, brought to you by Nationwide agent Jeff Vukovich. Visit Jeff at jeffvuk.com. Nationwide is on your side. 2-0 St. Louis's Jake Arrieta will lead off the Cubs' third. Never boring around the Cubs, Patrick, and very rarely is it not entertaining when these two teams get together. It's been a fun series.
Yeah, it's nice to see where the Cubs aren't just trying to play spoilers. They really have a stake in this division now, and the Cardinals are getting their first look at Addison Russell, and Chris Bryant, who, as Joe Madden said, is getting pitched at as if he won the Triple Crown last year.
You think Joe's going to get a call from Major League Baseball regarding his comments about the strike zone last night?
Yeah, I think he's expecting a call from New York, and I think that was a kind of a purpose pitch, that he threw to the rest of the league, and I think he knew exactly what he was doing, and I think he was kind of itching for something like that.
Yeah, nothing wrong with standing up for your guys, and he'd rather be the guy doing it than having his young players get into confrontations with home plate umpires and having to worry about that.
Arrieta strikes out. That's 3 in a row now for John Lackey. And it'll bring up Addison Russell.
Patrick, I got some popcorn here. Caramel corn, pretzels. Got some cheesy popcorn. We've got cookies. Got Nancy's booth. It's like Nancy and Ross, they take care of us here. I don't want you to feel, like.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
We'll take care of you.
My per diem's not that high. I need to fill my suitcase with stuff like that. Bring it home.
A strike on Addison Russell. So Javier Baez got ejected the other day in a AAA game along with his manager Marty Peavy. It sounded like a second base umpire ultimately made a call on a ball that was near the foul pole, right?
Yeah, this did not sound like, there was an incident that happened last year where I think him and Eli Whiteside got into it at one point, and there was some other issues with Javi. I don't think that was it. I think in talking to Justin Grimm yesterday, he made it sound like it was a call that guy probably shouldn't have made, and that Javi finished out the at bat, and obviously Javi's been through a lot these last couple weeks, but it didn't sound like there's any sort of emotional spillover from that, and that hopefully Javi gets on track pretty soon, because he's obviously such an exciting player to watch.
Yeah, it's professional baseball. These are these guys' livelihoods, and the emotions run high sometimes, and sometimes umpires get screamed at.
Served into center for a base hit. Russell now with a 10-gamer. So that's the other question. Is the clock ticking on Russell batting ninth? Will he make the leap over the pitcher's spot at some point? That's a good at bat.
Boy, how about that adjustment with the bat in the strike zone to go down and get that pitch? Wow. I love this kid. What do you think? Joe's kind of likes him in the 9-hole, right? No low pressure. I mean, ultimately he's going to move out of there, but
he was asked that question the other night, whether he hit the home run or a couple more doubles, and said he likes where he's at now. Obviously, his lineup's has been working pretty well, but I think we're talking about Starlin's debut, whatever it was 5 years ago. I mean, comparing the way Addison's able to come up here and blend in, and we don't really talk about him probably as nearly as much as we should with Brian and all the other stuff going on. And I think you leave him in there, for now, and obviously, as JD said, he'll grow into a pretty nice piece at the top of this lineup.
1-0 on Coughlin.
And I think ultimately he's going to be like a 3-hole hitter. I mean, it's home runs, he hits doubles, he's going to hit for average.
Yeah, it'd be a good problem to have 3 or 4 guys you'd like to hit third.
Yeah. I mean, it's Joe tinkers with his lineup all the time, and he can do that because of the depth of the lineup. That he's got so many talented hitters, he can play around with it.
Well, whether the pitcher stays 8th or ever moves to 9, I really like the idea of Rizzo or Soler or Bryant in the 2 spot, because the one thing that those guys possess are on base skills. Yeah, they're going to hit for power, but I like the fact that they get on base a lot. And that's caught by John Jay for the out. The other thing that's interesting, Patrick, from a reporter's standpoint, is when you have a set lineup, anytime there's any sort of deviation, it becomes this big headline. But Joe has a penchant of mixing things up on almost a daily basis. We've seen Jorge Soler hit in the leadoff spot. He's hitting all the 5 spots at the top of the order. Bryant today hitting second for the first time. It's almost not a story because that's just what Joe does.
Yeah, I mean, remember when Lou Piniella would get those lineup questions, he got understandably, tired of those. But I remember we were here last year, and Jed Hoyer told us Bill James saved him a lot of grief earlier in his career with the Red Sox when he said the batting order doesn't matter. Just put your best hitters at the top, and you'll be fine. And I thought that was a good way of just summing it up and saying don't worry about who's second or third or whatever, as long as your best hitters are up there, you'll be fine in the long run.
Well, that is where the Russell in the 9 spot is worth debate, because right now he's not the Cubs' 9th best hitter. And so you balance that, keeping him comfortable and not putting pressure on him, versus would we be better off if he hit 3 spots above and got another plate appearance?
When he becomes the guy, when he's able to kind of play like this over a long stretch where Joe feels comfortable, okay, he's settling in, he's good. I mean, he still strikes out a lot. He'll probably move.
The Bryant first home run watch continues as he waits for an 0-2. Well, he might ask for time there.
In your conversations with Bryant, has that ever come up? Has he talked about the fact that he hasn't gone deep? It's got to weigh on him a little bit, at least.
If it is, he doesn't. He has a pretty good poker face.
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't really let that show. But I mean, I think if you look up at the scoreboard as overall numbers, I think he's pretty pleased with that.
Gosh, yeah.
I mean, he said there's more to this game than hitting home runs, and you see he gets his uniform dirty every night. He runs the bases well. He's been getting on base nonstop, except for right there.
Patrick, always appreciate the time. Patrick Mooney, our Cubs insider, 2-0 St. Louis. is back on CSN as the Fire look to burn up the field against Real Salt Lake. Coverage begins at 1:30 on Comcast Sportsnet. The gateway to the West, St. Louis. Cubs trying to earn a 2-2 split. Wong with an infield single in the opening inning. And he takes ball one.
Now Wong up to 337 now, talking about a guy who they've been typically hiding down at the bottom of the order. He's hitting second today, but he's been down in that 7-8 spot quite often.
So you want to have fun with opening day lineups? Fernando Vina made 4 straight opening day starts at second, 2000 to 2003. Care to name the guys in between Vina and Wong?
Skip Schumacher?
Yep.
Did David Eckstein ever go over there, or did he just
Nope.
stay as short?
Tony Womack.
Mark
Grudzelanek, Aaron Miles, Adam Kennedy, Brendan Ryan, Skip Schumacher, Daniel Descalzo.
It reminds me a little bit of Rafael Furcal in stature.
Yeah. Wong is from Honolulu, Hawaii. 22nd overall pick, the 2011 draft.
Like Furcal, he's got some pop in his bat.
Good football player in high school as well as baseball. As a senior, he hit .660. Never batted in a high school season under 500. Ground ball up the middle to Castro, makes the play.
Ariette had to pitch around a couple of base hits in the first. Got a big line-out double play to get out of that. Then the Cardinals put a 2-spot on him last inning, so could use a nice quick 1-2-3 inning here to kind of settle in.
Peralta, in the second year of a 4-year, $53 million contract. Driven the other way. Soler, however, will get to it.
We are going pink to promote breast cancer prevention awareness. Monday, it's May 11th. All fans in the Budweiser bleachers, that's right, the Budweiser bleachers will receive a Cubs Charities Pink Out t-shirt presented by Advocate Healthcare. Cubs players will also wear pink batting practice jerseys that will be auctioned off to raise funds for mammograms for underinsured and uninsured women. For more information, visit CubsCharities.com.
Pride of Slippery Rock University, Matt Adams. Strike called.
I can hear Dave Dial and Andrea Kirby on the Prudential College scoreboard right now.
Dave Dial, that's a good name from the past.
In the Yankee Conference. Joe Madden had a big day for Lafayette. Threw for over 140 yards. No, Lafayette's in the Patriot League, right? Patriot League, yeah.
Yep.
It might have been in the Yankee Conference back in the day.
Russell will glove, and Adams is out. Arrieta with a 1-2-3 third. 2-0 Cardinals.
Score, John Lackey so far. Very, very good. 3 innings. He's allowed just 1 hit. Here's the breakdown. He's thrown his 2-seamer 22 times, 4-seamer 12 times, cutter / slider 8 times, and he's thrown 1 hook. He has struck out 5, walked 1. And those numbers pretty much in keeping with what he typically does. Usually throws his curveball a little bit more.
Rizzo lined out to short his first time, and he just about knocked Mike Matheny on his rear end.
Guess you would call this turning on a ball. Mike might have to strap on his old catcher's gear for protection in there.
One ball, 2 strikes on Rizzo, whose last 61 home runs have either been solo shots or 2-run homers dating back to September of 2012 when he hit a grand slam. This time he's going to ground out 3-1.
Well, I guess probably the main reason for that is, one, they pitch him carefully to begin with, and in situations with a couple men on base, they're really going to be judicious. The hope is, with more firepower in the lineup, pitchers will be more willing to attack him in those situations.
Montero tried to push a bunt toward third with Reynolds back. John Lackey in 2002 with the Angels was the first rookie to win Game 7 of the World Series since Babe Adams, 1909. With the Red Sox, he beat the Cardinals in Game 6. 2 World Series clinchers.
Pretty good swing there by Montero. Fastball left over the plate by Lackey. His command has been really good here today. He hasn't made many mistakes in the strike zone. When you look at that pitch tracks, you're seeing a lot of pitches on the edges. That time he got a good chunk of home plate.
Fly ball to left. John Jay's got it.
See that kid for the Twins last night? Rosario, I think his name was.
I did not.
Hit a home run on the very first pitch he saw in the big leagues.
Can't get much better than that.
No, probably a mistake. Do that in the very first pitch you see. Expectations are going to go through the roof. Nobody can live up to that.
Ended up being a game winner in a 13-0 win over the A's. Eddie Rosario. Soler pops it up. Tough Sunday, but drifting over is Reynolds. Yeah, it is Thursday. I meant sun, comma, day.
St. Louis. The Budweiser bleachers are set to make their season debut. The enhanced bleachers will have a new look and feel with additional amenities and more grouped spaces. Tickets are available for games as early as this Monday. Visit Cubs.com/bleachers to buy tickets and learn more about the new spaces and when they will be available. That will be fun to have folks back out in the bleachers on this next homestand.
It'll also be fun to see Mets and the Cubs renew acquaintances. Old-time NL East rivals. Kind of the lost story there with the Mets, JD, is they're really banged up. David Wright's on the DL. Travis d'Arnaud, their catcher. Bullpen really banged up. They have been able to not only survive but thrive here early on.
Well, they lost Zach Wheeler before the season even started.
Yep. Two strikes to Reynolds. Look forward to getting the follow-up from Bob Uecker and Joe Block. They were locked in their radio booth at Miller Park last night. I guess a doorknob fell off, so they had to actually have a ladder brought into the front of their booth from the loge, and one of the workers at the ballpark had to come in and fix it. I'm sure that wasn't any fun on the radio. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Bob Uecker locked in a radio booth.
Marietta starting to hit his stride here. He's retired 6 in a row, 3 by strikeout.
Hayward, RBI single and a run in the second.
Yeah, what did you tell his audience? Something like, yeah, you people listening probably think I finally lost it. I'm 80 years old. I just don't know how to open the door. Can't get out. No, it's legit. We're stuck in here.
Slider is low. That might have been a changeup, actually. This will be a change. And it's hit foul out of play. One thing we've noticed about the new commissioner, Rob Manfred, with whom we chatted last week, is that he is not afraid to kind of answer any question, whether or not he's strongly considering some sort of change or not. The latest, which piqued my interest, he was in Houston last night and he was asked about the schedule. Quote, 162 games in 183 days, and a lot of those 21 days consumed by travel. It's pretty demanding. Doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to suggest going back to 154, but just kind of threw it out there. Who wants it? And there was a little miscommunication maybe again there. Castro went to get it and looked then like he was going to get out of Russell's way. Remember, they collided the other day. It's a hit for Hayward.
Yeah, and on that play, he did the right thing this time by changing the angle and cutting it off, getting in front of Addison. And then just whiffed as he reached for the ball. Maybe altered his route a little bit there as Addison continued to pursue. You see, he was going to come and get it. Probably saw Addison out of the corner of his eye, changed his path a little bit, and then couldn't reach it.
Good lead by Hayward, and Arrieta's throw almost got him. I think Rizzo thinks he may have gotten him. Like John Hirschbeck did not have the best angle to make that call. I think he's out.
Yeah, Joe Madden's up on the top of the step, and they're probably going to want to take a look at this one.
Did he tag him? The ball was there in time.
The previous replay I saw, I thought he got him.
They are not going to challenge.
Well, that's tough. That's the way last night went. They're probably thinking, well, here he goes.
Hayward runs, Molina swings and misses, and safe at second. Fourth steal.
It's a real challenge for the catchers with Arrieta on the mound because Jake's pretty slow to home plate. 7 steals, 1 caught with Jake on the mound for the season. Hayward was credited with a base hit, but that's a play that should have been made. Cubs have been a little sloppy here today.
0-2 on Molina. With a curve that time, 1-2.
So 5 innings last time out for Arrieta. It was just the 3rd time in his last 24 starts that he didn't pitch at least 6 innings. He's been durable and dependable and outstanding.
And on the hands, and he fights it off. Still 1-2. So here's the quality start record for the Cubs. The team is 11-2 when they get a quality start, 3-10 when they don't. I like that stat. Some people don't.
Well, I think
it's generally instructive.
Yeah, I think it's a good team stat, right? I mean, you know, you could say the argument against it is, well, if you're a pitcher and you go 6 innings, allow 3 runs, that's the definition of a quality. That's a 4.5 ERA. Well, that's not very good.
But if you add it up over the course of time,
all of those,
yeah,
and your bullpen's doing their thing, that's you're winning a lot of games. Is the number you just stated.
Down into deep left center. Caesar has it on the warning track as he runs it down. Yeah, if you get a quality start, doesn't mean an automatic win. And the converse is not automatically true, but a pretty good bet. If you don't get a quality start, you're going to have a very difficult time winning. And when you do, you will. And when the Cubs have gotten a quality start, it hasn't been a 4.5 ERA. Cubs starters are 9-1 with a 2.08.
Right.
So the point of that is most quality starts are way better than the minimum requirements. 4-1.
What was that thing we came up with last year? You had a name. You had a new
quality
new
wins. You could only get a win if you had a quality start. And if you had a quality start, you can't take a loss.
Borges has been swinging it well lately. Lackey, not much of a hitter. Cubs are already down 2. So the intentional walk is granted. No.
John Lackey, inside out swing. Hayward scores. Borges is going to be sent by Jose Oquendo. Throw to the plate, not in time. John Lackey just doubled his career RBI total. He had 2 coming in.
Wow.
He doubles their lead.
Mr. Bail and Whale, that front foot's in the Cubs dugout when he makes contact, but it was certainly well placed and a little trouble with it by Soler in right field. Otherwise, they might have had a shot at Borges.
Maybe they're changing part of that. Are they giving him an error on the second run? Yeah, they are. So I think he's going to get an RBI on the double, and then Borges, he never stopped. But they're saying the bobble allowed him to score.
Yeah, I don't know. Can the scorer say RBI, because we're not going to assume they were going to make a play on him at home, but the error allows Lackey to go to second base? Yeah, it could be that too.
Okay.
Because Lackey was a fairly reluctant base runner rounding first. It's like, do I really have to go? That's huge, though, boy. The way Lackey's going today.
Yep.
And I'm not a big fan of the intentional walk, but that one is very understandable.
Strike three called to end the inning. Cardinals get 2, and it's 4-0. CSN for Kia Bulls post-game live. Go inside the locker room for rapid reaction from the top players and coaches and much more. It's a full court press of info and insight that you won't find anywhere else after every Bulls playoff game on CSN Chicago. So they've got this clock in between innings. Looks like John Lackey will get a few extra seconds since he was at second base when the inning ended.
Yeah, they're not going to ask him not to take his full complement of warm-up pitches. He looks like he's still trying to collect himself out there. He was gassed from that trip to second base. He's going to take a couple more and be good to go. So this is the common sense part of applying this rule, that they have this clock to try to quicken the pace of play, but a pitcher who just came off the bases is going to get a little extra time. Now, in the way it was set up, by the beginning of May, pitchers and hitters who violated the pace of play rules were going to be fined. But because players have been so cooperative, the commissioner said the other day that they're going to back off of that stance.
I think that's the right play. So a 4-0 hole out of which the Cubs hope to dig themselves. Ball 1 to Castro. Cubs have 2 errors in this one. I think 1 unearned run to date. That went into the camera well.
I have 2 errors. The base hit by Hayward last inning. There was a play that should have been made. There was a wild pitch. Coghlan wasn't able to come up with that ball in left field. No error was charged. It's just been kind of a little shaky out there today. But most importantly, haven't been able to get much done at all against Lackey. They do not have a man to reach scoring position yet today.
Adams retires Castro.
2 base runners, 1 out walk to Bryant in the first, 1 out single by Russell in the third.
Well, the Cubs jumped all over Carlos Martinez for 5 in the first Monday. He gave up 7, could not get through the 4th. Tyler Lyons gave up 4 runs, 3 earned at 4 1/3. Lance Lynn allowed 5 runs last night, 6 innings. So the Cubs have gotten to the Cardinals starters, but not today to this point. 1 hit belonging to Addison Russell. And the 0-1 to Caesar. Swing and a miss.
Lackey, he's got a lot of things going well for him here today. His fastball command has been outstanding. With that sharp slider. He's gotten swings and misses at the elevated fastball.
Strike 3 called.
Little Laredo heater there to get Caesar. Second time Matt has struck out.
Now Arrieta has allowed 4 runs, 3 earned in his 4 innings. So still could get a quality start, although he's already allowed 4 runs. Last night, John Lester got a quality start because only 1 of those runs was earned.
Well, that was too easy.
Ooh, way too quick. 4-0.
Cubs nothing. Cubs Authentics is the premier outlet for all MLB authenticated game used and autographed Cubs memorabilia. Visit Cubs.com/authentics for more information and to bid on weekly auction items, including game used baseballs, jerseys, bases, and more. The Cubs will donate net proceeds from the sale to Cubs charities.
Colton Wong fouls at the plate. I feel like I cut you off before the end of that inning. Did you have something to add?
I don't think so.
Okay.
What were we talking about?
I don't remember. Do you remember the question that you have to ask next spring training when we're in Las Vegas?
Oh, yeah. If more people bet on Friday the 13th or less. Was that the one?
Was that it? I don't remember.
I think it was the Friday the 13th question.
Unique setup for Arrieta as he strikes out Colton Wong. Doesn't really have much movement with his feet as he goes into his windup. The side of his foot, the outside of his foot against the rubber, as if he's pitching from the stretch. It simplifies things.
No wasted motion. It's a good balanced position over the rubber. Keeps his weight back.
One small step. And Soler on the run. So that was one small step for Jake and one giant leap for Jorge.
And one big out in the bottom of the fifth. Oh, I know I'm saying it was too easy for Lackey there in the top half of the inning. A guy who had just run the bases and kind of looked like he was sucking gas a little bit there. And now with that quick inning, he'll have a chance to recover in the dugout. Perhaps get a second wind.
Oh, this reminded me. 7. Yeah, you asked me some question about 3 weeks ago. I can't remember what it was, but the answer was 7. So that just reminded me. I said I'd get back to you.
Okay.
You're jogging my memory. It's good.
I might have asked you how many continents there were.
Days of the week. Maybe it was what comes before 8. Looks like another sellout today, which is not a surprise. We've had well over 40,000 for every game in this series.
See if the Cubs can provide a little drama in the later innings here. Cardinals have inflicted a lot of damage against the Cubs bullpen. They've scored, St. Louis has 14 runs from the 5th inning on in this series. Cubs had to mount a pretty good goal line stand last night to finally win that ball game 6-5.
James checking in on Twitter. How many licks does it take to get the center of a Tootsie Pop? 7. There you go. Could have been the question. I haven't had one of those in a long time.
Yeah, I used to go into chew mode pretty early on those. Just not very patient.
Three, two, strike, 3 called. 4-0 St. Louis. Infinity high-speed action last night. Starlin Castro, we're not quite sure what possessed him, but just kind of going through the motions with Chris Bryant. Fortunately, Rizzo able to locate the ball. Would have been fun if he made 2 catches. I enjoyed it.
His timing was perfect. Even the crow hop, little double pump. And Joe Madden was asked about it today, and he said, if I want my guys out there having fun, relaxed. I wouldn't be surprised if there was always also, okay, that was fun, but let's not do it again.
Right. 1-1 to Russell is in there. His single in the third, the only hit against John Lackey to this point. In the air to right, sending Hayward back to the edge of the warning track, and he's got it. Cardinals leading the season series 3-2. We won't be back here until the end of June. They'll play 19 games in all, still have to make up a rainout at Wrigley Field. That's a fair ball. Coghlan will make his way to second. That ball actually lodged under the padding, and he's just going to keep running. But he'll be sent back to second. I'm actually not sure why Hayward kicked it or grabbed it after the fact. Usually the umpire goes out and confirms and looks at it, but it was a pretty easy call to make.
Cubs finally have a man in scoring position. See if they can get a little something going here. See the ball get stuck. Hayward's waiting for it to shoot out the other side.
Bryant cuts and misses. It is amazing that there are these little crevices and areas in ballparks where a ball can fit just perfectly and not come out.
And it's games like this where you really value the power component, the ability to come from behind. When you've got sluggers in the lineup, you feel like you got a much better chance of playing catch up. And when you have depth to your lineup, you're not leaning on just 1 or 2 guys to be the man. So if you are being pitched carefully, go ahead and take your walk and pass the baton to the next guy.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Lackey set at the belt. Pitch fouled.
Mackey has been very resourceful here today. Go down, 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 and then go up with a fastball.
Swing and a miss for strike 3. 2 outs.
Hasn't lost anything in terms of velocity or command. That one of the better fastballs he has thrown, 93. Able to slip it by him.
The trade on July 31st brought a left-hander Corey Luttrell and cash, and sent Alan Craig and right-hander Joe Kelly to Boston. He then made 10 starts here with the Cardinals in the regular season and 2 in the postseason. Got a win in the division series against the Dodgers. He becomes even more important to this staff with Adam Wainwright out for the rest of the season.
Strikeout high for the season is 8. That came in his second start of the year against the Brewers. He had not struck out more than 4 in his last 3 starts. Step out.
Well, that's as long as you'll see a guy pause at the stretch position without somebody asking for time.
And it's hard for a hitter to maintain his concentration that long.
Cardinal notes say that Lackey suffered a 3-1 loss to the Cubs last December.
Yeah, we didn't do that game. We were off that day. Would have been around the holidays.
It was Miguel Montero on deck.
Probably more errors in the press notes on a day game, right? Rush to get it ready, yeah.
Not calling out anybody. It actually made us laugh.
It's kind of funny.
It happens.
Rizzo in battle mode. Joe Madden talks frequently about how good his 2-strike approach is. And I think the way Joe terms it, he actually has a 2-strike approach. So many guys aren't willing to change regardless of the count, but Rizzo does. Usually when you see a pitcher drop down, it's, to a same-sided hitter, you're trying to get that front shoulder to leak a little bit. Right-handed pitcher will drop down to a right-handed hitter. Try to get him to bail a little bit. Here he tried it with a lefty, just maybe trying to present a different angle, just a little different look.
Rizzo really locked in. He gave up on that pitch really early. Able to recognize the spin, the fact that it was not going to be anywhere close to the strike zone. Spoiler that time.
If you're an unemployed pitching coach looking for work, the Red Sox have an opening. They fired Juan Nieves. Pitching staff has really had a tough go of it. Next to last in the major leagues with a 4.86 ERA. Starters 5.54.
Well, Rizzo didn't run at first. I think he thought he fouled it off himself. Hang on. Are they seeing a quick pitch? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I believe a balk has been called on John Lackey. John Tumpane, the home plate umpire, called it.
Well, Lackey, he's opening up the bag of tricks here. He tried that drop down delivery. And Rizzo did the right thing. You know, that's not a dead ball. You can swing, put it in play. If something good happens, you can accept the play.
I thought he was close to balking earlier in this sequence. Finally called it on him. And now Rizzo will step out. Some gamesmanship here. Two balls, two strikes. Swing and a miss to end the inning. 4-0 St. Louis.
Costco is the official kids club of the Chicago Cubs. Team up with Clark as a member of Clark's crew and receive the kid-specific perks, experiences, merchandise, all kinds of good things. Visit Cubs.com/Clark to sign up today and be part of the fun all season long. Gotta love those perks.
Still 4-0 as John Lackey has tied his season high with 8 strikeouts. Arrieta to Mark Reynolds. Ball 1.
Well, Lackey having a big day, not only on the mound, but he delivered that big base hit. Scored 2.
Former Baltimore teammates Arrieta and Reynolds on the outside corner. Although, as you mentioned, it was a different Jake. back then.
That was old Jake. Old Jake was a young guy with a great arm, struggling to figure things out. New Jake is one of the best pitchers in the National League.
Still 2-2. Arrieta as a Cub, 17-9 with a 281. This is his 40th start with Chicago. Full count.
Coming into this ball game, right-handed batters were hitting a 152 against Jake Arrieta, and that's not really good at all, as everybody knows. And just watching him pitch here to Reynolds, you can see how tough he is. He kind of throws across his body, steps towards that right-handed hitter, and then works back across the body, but he's still able to make quality pitches away to them with that delivery.
Swing and a miss on the slider. We've seen 15 strikeouts combined. Lackey with 8. That was number 7 for Arrieta.
Just a tough AB for a right-handed hitter. He gets a swing through on not his best slider, but it got the job done.
Hayward's had a big day from the 6th spot in their lineup. 2 hits, stolen base, an RBI, and 2 runs.
And 2 for 2. He hasn't hit the ball hard. A little blooper into center and then a ground ball on the right side of the infield. He has hit some balls hard in this series. That's starting to show a little life. Maybe perhaps new here to St. Louis. High expectations. Going to be a free agent at the end of the year.
Good try by Arrieta that time. 2-1. Bounced foul past first. Jared Saltalamacchia gets a minor league deal with the Arizona Diamondbacks after being cut by the Miami Marlins.
The Diamondbacks just not getting any production from the catching position.
A.J. Burnett will pitch tonight for the Pirates. Still looking for his first win. He's got a 1.45 ERA and 5 starts.
Diamondbacks catchers are batting .219 with a .526 OPS with 1 extra base hit. So Saltalamacchia will likely get a chance. If you're wondering where the Cubs stack up in that department, they're second best in the league, trailing only the Rockies in on-base plus slugging from the catching position. Adjusted for altitude, they're number 1.
Hit hard on the ground into right. Hayward's 7th hit of this series.
And he deserved that one. He hit that ball hard. Got himself a nice at-bat. A little fortunate with the first 2, but a solid single here, and it all adds up to a very good day for Hayward. 3 out of 3, 2 scored, 1 driven in, and stolen base last time, and pretty good chance he's going to be looking to go at some point here fairly soon. Nothing cooking in the Cubs bullpen yet, but I do see some movement out there, and it looks like somebody's going to start to toss.
It's Justin Grimm just off the disabled list.
A big part of the pitcher's job in this situation, trying to hold a would-be base stealer, is just to make him uncomfortable over there. Hold the ball a long time, try to deaden the legs, throw over there, make him dive back into first base a couple of times.
Chris Sale has dropped his suspension appeal. He gets 5 games. Jeff Samardzija did after he pitched as well. Carlos Rodon will get a shot in the White Sox rotation.
Credit that bad miss by Arrieta to the presence of Hayward on first. So Hayward's not Billy Hamilton, doesn't have that kind of speed, but he is a good base stealer.
Lined into left for a base hit. Hayward to third. Bottom of the order getting it done. Hayward, Molina, Borges, and Lackey with that RBI double earlier.
Not a whole lot of bite on that slider from Arrieta. Montero out there to buy a little time for Grimm.
So Arrieta, who had thoroughly dominated the Cardinals, will leave today trailing 4-0. It's a Weber Sauces and Seasonings call to the pen. Why grill with anything else? Justin Grimm when we come back. Weber called to the pen brings on Justin Grimm. He's very happy to be back on the active roster. Some DL time due to a forearm issue.
Battle today for Arrieta. Threw the ball pretty well for the most part. The fastball command wasn't there early on, and then the one pitch he'd love to get back was that one Lackey whack down the first baseline to drive in two. But good enough to win on a lot of days, but not today as he trails 4-0. It's up to the bullpen to hold him down, and the Cubs are going to have to rally from behind. A 2015 Cub debut for Justin Grimm.
He was on the opening day roster, but then later placed on the DL before he pitched. Throw to third, pretty close, but Hayward got back in time on what looked like a planned play.
Man, that was close as Hayward was taking cover. Worried as much about protecting himself as he was about getting back to the base.
First and third, one out. And a 2-0 count on Borges.
Justin really turned it on in the second half of last year. Had a 4.57 ERA before the break, 2.60 after the All-Star game. Walks were down, batting average against way down.
3-0 now, and everybody in. Grim, 26 years old, 6'3", 210. And strike one. Bristol, Virginia. Swing and a miss. Ended up at the University of Georgia. Good breaking ball there.
Borges doesn't hit for much power, counting on a fastball there on 3-1. Really crossed up by Grimm.
Came over from the Rangers. The Matt Garza deal. Here it is. Swing and a miss. Nice comeback. 3-0 to a strikeout.
Borges has been swinging it well, feeling good about things. Had a man on third base, looking to drive in a run. Got a little greedy. Good execution by Grimm. And Montero went down and away with a couple of breaking balls to finish him off.
Going to bring up Lackey with 2 outs. First hit of the year, and his 10th at bat was an RBI double in the 4th.
Same guy. The guy that just had that swing is the guy who's had the biggest hit of the game.
Yeah.
That's why pitchers should be allowed to hit. You never know what's going to happen.
Right. Gets away, and they're going to steal a run. Hayward in. 5-0.
Hard to control that breaking ball in the dirt. That power breaking pitch in the dirt, a very difficult one to block and contain.
Molina now at second, and a 1-2 count on Lackey. So while he's been at the plate, 3 runs have scored, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
3 of the
2
5
came home on his hit in the 4th, and now this one here. And that was funny with 2 strikes. He was in straight take mode there with 2 strikes. I don't know if the Cardinals are going to try a little chicanery with Molina taking off for second, assuming the Cubs wouldn't throw through. But if they did, Hayward would try to race home.
Called strike 3, and the inning is over, but they add to their lead. It's 5-0 as we go to the 7th. But the Cubs suggest the use of public transportation. Or for bike riders, use the Cubs courtesy bike check located near Clark and Addison. For drivers, the Cubs provide free parking and shuttle service on night and weekend games from 3900 North Rockwell. For more details, visit Cubs.com.
I like to show up riding in a handsome cab. Claimed on waivers. That would be one way you could get to Wrigley Field.
Right, yeah.
Seen a lot of that over the last couple of years. Can the Cubs solve Lackey, do a little damage, get into the bullpen, and make a run here late? Got 9 outs to play with. Have not really put any meaningful pressure on Lackey all afternoon.
So Montero will step in. He's flied to center and to left. They've just turned the lights on as skies have darkened a little bit.
Now, the weatherman said there's a chance there'd be some showers in the area. I don't think anything significant.
He pulls his hands over his head in that windup, and a foul strike. The Dodgers pulling away from the Brewers now 7-3 as they play the top of the 7th. Alex Guerrero with his 6th home run. Adam Lind has hit number 6 for the Brewers. Frias and Fires, the pitching matchup there. They each went 5 innings. Montero able to hold up.
No home runs for Jock Peterson today. Their young phenom. What was it said? His last 7 hits have been home runs.
Yep.
He's 0 for 2 today. Walked a couple times. Anxious to see him play.
This time Montero strikes out. Lackey with a new season high. 9 strikeouts.
It's been a big pitch for him all day here. This breaking ball diving down below the knees. He's gotten a lot of swings and misses.
Twins are playing good ball after a rough start under Paul Molitor. They went into their game today with Oakland 15-13, and they have a 6-5 lead in the 8th. Ike Davis has homered for the A's. A laser into the left field corner for Soler. Rounding second, and he'll stop there with a double. Only the Cubs' 3rd hit.
A ferocious swing of the bat by Soler. Bet you the exit velocity on that one was pretty high. I'm going to go 104.
Castro, the hitter.
Probably one more base runner away from action in the Cardinal bullpen.
Oh, 1.
Been a while since Starlin's had an extra base hit.
Right field, but Hayward will not have a play.
Good for a high average, good solid average. Now batting .291, but only 3 extra base hits for Castro. And let me see here. I got his game log pulled up. He had a home run on April 21st. That was his only extra base hit since the 15th of April.
Cardinals ending an 11-game homestand, their longest of the season. They'll be at Pittsburgh this weekend. Cubs will head to Milwaukee. Ground ball, base hit. Soler around third, and the Cubs finally break the seal on this one. Here in the 7th on the Castro RBI single, it's 5-1.
That's a start. When he tried that drop down breaking ball, Castro stayed on it. Hit it sharply through the middle of the diamond. Soler with a 1-out double comes around to score. And that'll get him cranking in the Cardinal pen.
Kevin Segrist, a left-hander. Outside to Matt Caesar. In that Dodger-Brewer game today, Mike Fiers had a 9-pitch, 9-strike, 3-strikeout inning, which does not happen very often.
He struck out 8 through 5. He's the guy that struck out 12 Cubs last week in 6 innings and had 14 strikeouts against the Cubs in 6 innings last year.
(2-0) to Caesar. That hit hard, but just inches foul. Second tour with the big league club, Matt recalled yesterday. Second start of the year. His other came on April 10th in Colorado.
A couple of home runs, a triple, drove in 7 in 11 games with Iowa, hit .262 down there. Coming off a very good spring training where he flashed some power. He was hitting the ball out of the ballpark, 5-6 home runs in Cactus League play.
Tweaked his swing a little bit over the winter, with good results.
Yeah, that's the thing we always talk about. Don't let spring training fool you. Don't look. You can get overhyped and excited about the results of spring training, but when a guy has changed his approach, he's made a very tangible mechanical adjustment and just kind of becoming a different player than you thought you had, then it's worth paying attention to those results. And that was the case with Caesar. He was a guy that was thought of as a speed guy, rolled over on the ball, hit it on the ground, and he changed the swing, getting through the ball, driving the ball much, much better.
Hayward calls off Borges, and he's got it. And now Dexter Fowler will hit for Grimm.
Get a behind-the-scenes look at beautiful Wrigley Field. The Cubs offer 90-minute guided tours that include a chance to step on the field. This must-see Chicago attraction houses over 100 years of history. For more information, check out Cubs.com/tours.
Fowler out of the lineup for only the second time. First time he had some groin tightness while we were in Pittsburgh in late April.
Shortened up for him in the on the offside there. Jay in left is shallow. Borges likes to play shallow. We've seen Fowler drive a lot of balls through that alley in left center field. That would work here.
Adams to the bag unassisted. Cubs get their first run. Stretch time in St. Louis. They trail 5-1. Up the weekend against a new manager, Craig Counsell and his Brewers. Coverage starts at 7 on CSN Chicago. Cubs owe the Brewers some payback after dropping 2 of 3 last weekend. James Russell will make his second appearance since returning to the Cubs.
I give a couple of scratch hits on Tuesday and an inning and a third, charged with a run. So now 29 years of age, traded away to Atlanta last year, released by them this spring, signed by the Cubs, went to Iowa, and now he's back in the big leagues.
Five to 1 Cardinals as they try to take their 8th straight series to start this season. They split with the Cubs, so they have not dropped a set. It is lightly sprinkling, I believe. Ball rocketed foul. Well, I had people, I talked about how hot the Cardinals were to start the season. Say, look at their strength of schedule. Playing a lot of teams that were below 500. No. They're good.
Yeah.
They're really good. There's nothing illegitimate about this 20-7 start. And furthermore, you know what really good teams do? They win games they're supposed to win. They beat the teams they're supposed to beat.
Yeah. Well, I've been impressed that, when we came in here, we were talking about their pitching. Their pitching has led the way, but when you watch them play and you see the depth of the lineup, the balance in the lineup left and right, they've got dangerous hitters from both sides of the plate. They got guys like Carpenter and Holiday, or just have always been tough outs. Carpenter's turned into one of the best players in baseball, getting contributions from guys like Reynolds. Wong has emerged.
Ground ball to the other side as Bryant gets him.
That's a little bit of an issue. The throwing from Bryant really hasn't cost him yet, but does that ball sail on him a little bit from time to time. Occasionally puts Rizzo in harm's way over there at first base. He has a strong arm. That was strong arm. Comes out better when you don't have a popcorn seed in the back of your throat.
Deep to center. Caesar on the dirt. 2 outs.
Now, having said all that about the Cardinals, no way they're going to play at this pace.
No, they're not going to win 3 out of every 4 the rest of the way.
And they'll go through a downturn, and we'll see how they respond to that. Still questions about how they're going to replace Wainwright in the rotation.
One strike on Peralta.
So Lackey, Walker, Martinez, Lynn, and question mark essentially. They've auditioned a couple guys, not sure where they're going to go. Maybe Gonzalez becomes the...
Yeah, I think that's the most likely long-term solution is Marco Gonzalez. Jaime Garcia has the most experience, but he hasn't been very healthy. I haven't really read or seen. Would they have enough ammo to go out and get a Cole Hamels? Would they be willing to do that?
I don't know how deep their minor league system is.
3-1. Now 3-2.
The thing about Hamels, right? He's controlled for what, another 3 or 4 years, right? He's got a long-term deal. So, I mean, that piece of it makes him really attractive. Obviously, to get that player plus that long-term commitment, you're going to have to give up a lot.
And he is signed through 2018. So this year plus 3 more. A pretty good rate. 23 per year. 23.5 per season. Fair inside the chalk line. Peralta around first. Coughlin's throw a little late. It's a double.
They try to crowd him with a slider, and Peralta able to get the barrel on it. It's a 2-out double. So Lackey, Walker, Martinez, Lynn, question mark. Lester, Arrieta, Hamilwood, Hendricks. I'm not so sure. I don't like the list on the right better.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, obviously it's a good rotation they have there, but you take Wainwright out of the puzzle. It's a big piece. I do like the list on the right better.
Meaning the Cubs.
Yeah.
The Cardinals also without their 8th inning guy for 6 to 10 weeks, Jordan Walden. They've been able to work around their injuries here early on. He's got right biceps inflammation. There's the bow tie on John Mozeliak. Seth Maness up in the home bullpen.
That's different than the bow tie Nolan Ryan used to throw.
A fly ball in the left center. It'll be Coghlan, and Russell works a scoreless 7th. 5-1 Cardinals lead. At bat is up to the moment, at any moment, with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcasts, game StatCast, and more. Get MLB.com at bat for your smartphone or tablet. Not a lot of chips left to play, only 6 outs to work with, and the Cubs trail John Lackey and the Cardinals by 4. As Addison Russell, who's 1 for 2, will lead it off. Curveball missing for ball 1.
And just in case the Cubs start to make some noise here in the 8th, Mike Matheny's got guys up and ready in the bullpen, but John Lackey giving him exactly what he wanted here this afternoon. Pitching deep into this ball game, and not just deep into the game, but a fairly dominant performance.
Deep to right center. Borges with the flip downs, and he hauls it in. 1 down here in the Cubs' 8th. Now Chris Coghlan. To final in Minneapolis, 6-5 Twins over the A's to complete Minnesota's 8-3 homestand, during which they scored 73 runs.
Wow.
And allowed 39.
Twinkies making some noise.
16 and 13. Comebacker deflected off the glove of Lackey, and Coghlan's aboard. It's one of those where the pitcher would have been better off not to get involved.
Yeah, you saw Peralta sliding out behind the bag. He was going to be in position to make a play here for him, but Lackey efforted. Coughlin gets a base hit.
Well, that's a start. A 1-out infield single, and Bryant looks at strike one. One and two. Another one down, blocked by Molina. 2-2.
Seen this a lot from Bryant. He'll get down in the count a couple of strikes, but doesn't panic. Doesn't seem to have that accelerated heart rate, regardless of the count or the game situation. You know, he'll swing at some pitches out of the zone. He's got a plan.
No pitch. Time was called.
Lackey will take umbrage because that's what he does. He's kind of an irascible sort. Probably why he's been a successful big league pitcher for a long time.
Not too many big league analysts are going to use umbrage and irascible in the same sentence. But that's why we love you.
It's a reputation, right? He's kind of ornery. Oh,
Strike
no.
Three. Ball.
Yeah, it was on the plate, and you know, Bryant has a tendency to chase that high fastball, so now he's trying to stay off of it, and it gets rung up. This will probably show as a strike on our pitch tracks. It did. That's, you know, that's a pitch. As a pitcher, you don't anticipate getting that call.
So his 10th strikeout to what will be his final hitter of the day. And this crowd of over 44,000 showing Lackey their approval. It'll be Segrist against Rizzo when we return.
Nice round of applause from Fredberg.
Weber call to the pen. It's Kevin Segrist to face Anthony Rizzo. With a runner on and 2 outs here in the 8th inning.
Segrist came up with the Cardinals in 2013. This year he's 1-0 with a 146. Fastball, slider, and using his change a little bit more this year. Against the lefty, he'll probably be a fastball, slider.
He was a 41st round pick, 2008. So let's see. Kevin Segrist was the 1,235th player taken in the 08 draft.
Palm Beach Community College.
The only guy in that round of that draft who has big league time. Don Roach, who's in the Cubs system now, was taken in the 40th round that year. Kyle Hendricks was taken in the 39th round but did not sign with the Angels.
Yeah, and I may be a little fuzzy on the details here, but I think the story with Segrist was the Cardinals had a scout. They were watching another player, infielder or something, and Segrist got called into the game late to pitch. And kind of lit up the radar gun a little bit, and let's take a flyer on him.
Rizzo pops it down the third base line. Reynolds is out. Jay will get it in foul territory right near the barrier. And that will end the inning. The Segrist gets Rizzo. It's 5-1 St. Louis in the 8th. Is on here in the 8th inning.
Solid number so far for Mott. Closing hitters batting 195 against him. 8 hits, 4 walks, and 11 2/3. This will be a fun matchup. Mott just kind of likes to reach back and hump it up there as hard as he can. And that's kind of the approach Mark Reynolds has when he just decides to swing that bat. He's not trying to poke it the other way.
.95, but outside to Reynolds.
Justin Grimm rejoined the club, 2/3 of an inning, a couple of shutouts. James Russell worked an inning, allowed a hit, no runs.
.96. Two balls, two strikes. Mott, a converted catcher. Former Cubs closer Carlos Marmol. He got him.
Like they're trying to go away, but it sits on the inside corner for the strikeout at 96 miles an hour. Third time Reynolds has struck out today.
Andy Choate getting loose. Ground ball through the legs of Mott, but right to Castro, and he gets Hayward, who's retired for the first time today. Hayward had scored 6 runs combined the last 2 days. With 2 outs. Well, that bat ended up in the on-deck circle.
Jason Mott was a catcher in college at Iona College in New Rochelle, New York.
You own a college?
Iona College. Oh. Who owned the Chiefs? Owns. You know who's pitching there now? Mariano Rivera Jr.
Really?
Yes. And pretty good prospect, as a matter of fact.
In there on Molina. Ground ball up the middle. Castro will field the spin, the throw. Dug out by Rizzo. Mott with a 1-2-3. 8th inning, our AT&T Uverse multi-view. That's what the Cubs have coming up in the 9th, down 4. Lackey, terrific, working deep into this one, into the 8th inning. Season high 10 strikeouts, and he pitched in on offense too.
Yeah, not the way I envisioned this one working out. I thought the Cub hitters would get to Lackey here today. I expected Arrieta would shut down the Cardinals because that's what he has always done. But sometimes the game throws you a little curveball, and, boy, you have to tip your hat to Lackey. He was outstanding here this afternoon.
Segrist got Rizzo on a foul out to end the 8th, and he'll pitch to Montero here in the 9th. And he starts him with a strike.
Pitchers rarely get complete games anymore, but when you can just hand it off to one guy and let him finish the ball game and save the rest of the bullpen, that's important, especially this run the Cardinals have had where they've had to lean heavily on their bullpen. 3 extra inning games against the Pirates, and then those comeback games against the Cubs when they didn't get much out of their starters.
Three and one. Cubs need base runners. Need to pile them up here. Means just kicking the dirt and watching right now. There's a start, a leadoff walk.
Matheny immediately bounces out of that dugout. Segrist out there for just the left-hander. Looks like Manus will be next.
5-1 Cardinals in the 9th. We'll be back. Man on, nobody out. Cubs trail by 4. And it's Seth Manus.
He's a ground ball specialist, throws a lot of sinkers. And he worked for the 15th time this year. He's picked up a couple of saves, including one in this series. 11 2/3, 13 hits, hasn't walked anybody yet. And pitched a contact guy. Don't expect him to have a lot of strikeouts.
Jorge with a double and a run scored today, 1 out of 3. Hit .247 in April, but solid start to this month of May. Montero, the runner at first, the 0-1, and a base hit. 2 on, nobody out. Boy, at first I thought that was a double play ball, but then I realized it's Soler hitting it, and he didn't give Peralta a chance to get to it.
Yeah, he changes the reaction time, doesn't he? Because I was thinking the same thing off the bat. I said, that's a double play ball, but he hits the ball so hard. If you're not a step or so away, you're probably not going to make a play on it. We had 2 hits yesterday and 2 more here today. And here comes Mike Matheny. Wow.
We might be going into closer mode here with Rosenthal. We'll be back. 9th inning. Don't go anywhere. Walk by Montero. That was off Segrist. A single by Soler against Manis. And now Trevor Rosenthal will enter in a save spot with the tying run on deck.
And he's 9 out of 10, in save opportunities this year. A strikeout pitcher with a high 90s fastball. Real good changeup. Thought he might go one more with Manis because he's such a ground ball pitcher, and Castro hits the ball on the ground all the time. I think you got a better chance of getting the double play with Manis than you do with Rosenthal, but I guess understandable that he'd bring him in here now that it's a safe situation.
So here we go. Ball 1 to Castro. Rosenthal is a Missouri native. He's from Lee's Summit, just closer to Kansas City, the other side of the state. Reynolds to Adams for out number 1. Second and third, and it's Matt Caesar. Ball 1 to Matt. 2 strikeouts and a flyout. I think the start in center.
Just want to be short, quick to the ball here. And a little line drive to center field. Fowler's been used. It's Herrera, Ross, and Castillo available on the bench.
Very good value pick. Rosenthal, 21st rounder, 2009. 45 saves last year. struck him out.
An explosive 99-mile-an-hour fastball lights up our Cholula hot sauce gun.
Wellington Castillo off the bench. 2 outs. Tying run is Addison Russell on deck. Swing and a miss. Castillo batting for Mott. Cardinals trying to improve to 14-3 here at Busch Stadium. One and two now. There's not enough traffic today. Cubs have 6 hits. Taking 2 walks. Shut down for the most part by John Lackey and company. Strike 3 called away. You can't believe it. And that'll do it as the Cardinals beat the Cubs 5-1. No.
Yeah, that's not about framing or anything else. That's just a bad call.
So the Cubs strand 2 here in the ninth as John Lackey beats Jake Arrieta, and the Cardinals take 3 out of 4. And it's off to Milwaukee. So the Cubs, JD, have lost a couple of series in a row.
5 out of 6, just kind of going through a little bit of a funk. Ran into a red-hot team here in St. Louis. Need to regroup against Milwaukee over the weekend and get pointed in the right direction.
So we'll be back with you tomorrow night at the 7 o'clock. Cubs and Brewers to open up a weekend set at Miller Park. Final score once again: Cardinals 5, Cubs 1. Now for JD and our entire crew here in St. Louis, Len Casper inviting you to stay tuned.